Hello. Today we're going to talk about 4.4, the first lesson, and what we're doing is when a is 1. That'll make sense in a minute. First, let's do factoring. All right, to factor, we first have to remember how to FOIL, all right, because the whole idea of factoring is doing FOIL in reverse, okay? Think of factoring as reverse distributing, kind of. You're putting it into chunks, okay? So when we FOILed, we would do the first one, the outside, inside, last. So on this one, you would get x squared plus, plus 3x. Silly me. If I go in order. So this one we end up with x squared plus 5x plus 6. And on this one, when we FOIL this one, inside, outside, first, outside, inside, last. Ugh. All right, x squared minus 3x minus 2x plus 6. All right, so here we almost got the same thing, okay? But the middle sign was different, okay? And if we look at what was in green, well, yeah, the signs were different. Okay, so here they were both positive, and here they were both negative. So let's look at some connections here. Okay, notice that when I take this number and this number, okay, well, 2 plus 3 is 5, and 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, well, that was pretty cool. What about negative 2 and negative 3? All right, so if I have negative 2 plus negative 3, well, that was pretty cool. I get negative 5. And if I do negative 2 times negative 3, oh, well, look what I get. I get positive 6. So that's the relationship we're trying to figure out, okay? We want to figure out what two numbers go in parentheses that will add up to get this middle term and multiply to get this last term. Okay, so what I mean by that, let's look at this first example. Okay, I'll do it in purple. So for x squared plus 9x, we're looking for two numbers that either add up to 9 and multiply to 20. So I start with the 20. It's easier to look for multiples than it is for adding, because I can do so many numbers. I can do 1 plus 8, 2 plus 7, 3 plus 6, 4 plus 5, and that's just doing nice addition. I could do subtraction too, right? 16 minus 7, 15 minus 6, 14. Like, there's so many options. So start with the multiplying. We have 1 times 20. I always go in order. So 2 times 10, 3, that's silly, there's no 3. 4 times 5, and then I'm done, because it kind of, your numbers start to repeat themselves. Okay, so here I look for two of these numbers that must add up to 9. And the only way I'm going to get adding 9 is using 4 and 5, if I use positive 4 and positive 5. So this is going to be x plus 4, x plus 5. We can always double check it by foiling it back out. Okay, so if you're ever unsure if your answer is right, just FOIL it out, and you should end up with that. Okay, so this is our final answer. All right, for number 2, again, I look for things that multiply to get 60. Okay. Okay, oops, just made a mistake there. We're supposed to be starting with this number. Okay, sorry, I'm human. All right, so here we want to multiply to get 21. So 1 times 21, 2's not going to work, 3 times 7, 4, 5, 6, then we're back at 7. Okay, so there's only multiples to get me 21. And the only way I'm going to get negative 10 is with 3 and 7. Okay, so do we want to make it positive 3 and positive 7? Because that'll multiply to get positive 21. No, think about it. I need to make that negative 10. So I need negative 3 and negative 7. Then they'll both add up to 10 and multiply to get 21. So I should get x minus 3, x minus 7, because those numbers add up to negative 10, multiply to positive 21. Okay? All right, so let's do the next one. Okay, so what happens when I have negatives on the end? Okay, so again, let's practice our foiling. So if we foiled this one, we would end up with x squared plus 3x minus 1x minus 3. And so that's just x squared plus 2x minus 3. And this one is x squared plus 1x minus 2x minus 2. So x squared minus x minus 2. So notice they both ended in a negative, okay, but the middle numbers were different signs. I had a negative x and a positive 2x, okay? So you're just noticing connections, okay? I'll explain it all in a minute, all right, if you hadn't noticed it yet. So let's just do number 3. So we start with negative 72. I'm going to kind of not think about the negative right now. So just look for your multiples of 72. We have 1 times 72, 2 times 36. Oh goodness, we're going to have so many. 3 times, what is that? 24. 4 times, what is that? 18. And we have 6 times 12. 8 times 9. Okay, so lots more there, but still not too bad. We want to multiply to get negative 72 and add to get 14. So if I'm adding these, well, nothing's going to add to 14. But look what I had. I had different signs here. Different signs meant I'm not really adding 3 and negative 1. Okay, I've got a subtraction, right? One of them is a negative. That's minus 1. Okay, so it's 3 minus 1. So we want to think about that negative. So one of these needs to be negative. Well, if I make one of them negative, well, then I can make 14 with 4 and 18. If I make negative 4 and positive 18, I can add up to get 14, but multiply to get negative 72. So the biggest thing here is people mess up their signs. They get the right numbers, but then they can't get the signs right. So it should be x minus 4, x plus 18, because it'll add up to to positive 14 and multiply to negative 72. Okay, so number 2, look at your factors of 60. So many options. Almost there. 6 times 10. I think that's it. Yeah. So we want to make negative 7 happen. Well, I can't make negative 7 happen through addition, but I can make it happen through our subtraction. And that's our 5 and our 12. So we want a positive 5 and a negative 12. Because then it's going to add to negative 7 and multiply to negative 60. Okay, 5 plus negative 12 adds to negative 7. 5 times negative 12 adds to negative 60. That's how we get what we want. So it's going to be x plus 5, x minus 12. There you have it. Okay, so the connections I was talking about. Notice that when the signs are different, negative 2, positive 1, positive, negative, it's the quadratic ended on a negative. So if it ends on a negative, you know the signs are different. Okay? If it ends on a positive 20, positive 21, the signs are going to have to be the same. So if it ends, if you're multiplying for a positive number, the signs have to be the same. If you're multiplying to get a negative number, the signs have to be different. That's the kind of connection I was talking about. So let's just do this randomly, right? We're going to get random factoring problems, so let's just work on them. So how do I want to factor this? Well, since it ends in a negative, I know that this is going to have x minus and x plus. One is positive, one's negative. So let's look at our factors of 35. Ooh, that was a little rough. I don't know why I thought 2 would be a good choice. Let's see, really all that's left is 5 and 7. So we know it's going to be 5 and 7. All right, it's got to be this one. All right, to get negative 2, I would have to do 5 minus 7. So let's do negative 7 and positive 5. Okay. Now for number 6, I don't know what it is about number 6. People just see that extra y and more variables. I don't know. Y'all freak out. Don't freak out, okay? This looks essentially like what we've been doing. It's like x squared minus 3x minus 28, okay? So just visualize that for a minute. If we can factor this, okay, so 1 times 28, 2 times 14, 4, 5, 7, there we go. And so we want 4 and 7. Sorry, new mouse pad, I'm getting used to this. Okay, 4 and 7. So we're going to do 4 and another, well, negative 7. Okay, so this would be x plus 4 and x minus 7. But that's not quite what we wanted. We're still missing our y's. Okay, well, think about what you had. We had to multiply to get 28. Okay, so we need to multiply to get this y squared. Well, that's just y times y. So what if I put a y here and a y here? All right, so let's just try it. Okay, we're not sure if it's right, so how do we double check it? We FOIL it. So see if it FOILs out correctly. Okay, we FOIL, we get x squared minus 7xy. Always put your number first. Then the middle term, you're going to get plus 4yx, and then minus 28y squared. So we got what we wanted. We still have our x squared, and we still have the negative 28y squared. But the middle term, well, hopefully you know that commutative property of multiplication, that this is the same thing as saying plus 4xy. So here we actually get minus 3xy when we combine those middle terms. Okay, so here we do get that middle term. So our answer is x plus 4y times x minus 7y. It looks super complicated in the beginning, all right, but really it's just, here we have our x's, when you FOILed it, x squared and x. So this is just putting that variable at the tail end, so you get y squared and then y in the middle, okay? It's just putting your variable in the other spot of your parentheses, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. If not, just ask me in class. I'll be happy to go over it again. Okay, so wait, nope, I lied. I've got one more thing I want to show you. So let's just practice number 7 again. So try factoring this, pause it, see what happens, okay? All right, now I'm going to work it out. So we break down the 12, okay, and there we go, 3 and 4. So we're going to make it negative 3 and negative 4 because we wanted them to have the same sign. So this becomes r minus 3 and r minus 4, but hold up. People forget this all the time. Don't forget about this lingering last variable. So to take that into account, just add it to the end of each of those. There you go. That's its final answer. Okay. Now number 8 here is a little off, right? Because notice it didn't start the same way. This had a 1. Now it has a 2. I don't like this, okay? So if I can get rid of it, let's do it. So if I divide everything by 2, that's literally taking each one of these terms and dividing them by 2. And what I mean by the different terms, it's separated through subtraction or addition. So we're dividing each one of these pieces. So 2m squared over 2 is just m squared minus m minus 2. Now I know we completely changed the equation. We can't technically change an expression. If this was an equal 0, then I'd have no problem dividing it out and getting rid of it. You can get rid of stuff in equations. You can't in expressions. So because I took that 2 out, I have to leave it in front, kind of like distributing. Okay, so a little bit earlier I said factoring is just reverse distributing. In a way it is, because your first step of factoring, the first step of factoring, I'm going to ask you this a million times. And if you don't know this answer, then you didn't watch these videos, okay? First step of factoring always is look for the GCF. Because if you don't look for the GCF, you're making that problem a whole lot harder than it has to be. The GCF will always, always, always make your problems so much better and easier and faster. And aren't we all about doing things better, right? I don't want to waste my time. I certainly don't want to waste your time. So look for the GCF. Okay. Hopefully I've drilled that in enough. But now that you've factored it out, well, we're still not done factoring. We still have to factor this. Okay? So still take your 2, right? We still have to factor that into M. What? The only possibilities we have are 2 and 1, right? 2 times 1. I want to make it -1. So I need a -2 and a +1. And if you leave that 2 off, that GCF, I will take off half credit. Okay? So don't forget your GCF. I'm that serious about it because people forget it all the time. So you could factor this all perfectly, but if you leave off this 2, you will only get partial credit, half credit. Okay? So please, please, please don't forget the 2. Okay? All right. Let's do some more. Okay, so here. I don't start with a 1. I don't like it, so let's divide everything by -1. So we pulled out the -1, and we're going to get positive x squared, positive 3x, positive 2. Now I can do my normal factoring. Leave the -1 out there, and you want to think to yourself, okay, what's going to multiply to get 2? And what's going to add to get 3? So hopefully the more you do, the more factoring problems you do, the easier it becomes, right? We can start doing some stuff in our head. We're going to add to get 2. Add to get 3 and multiply to get 2. Okay? So this is my final answer. Ooh, I do not like that green. Let me do... There we go. All right, next one. So number 10. Again, practice this out, guys. See if you can do it, and then start up the video again. I would start by, I don't like this number in front, so I'm going to multiply or divide every term by -1. So we end up with x squared plus 3x minus 54. So then I do my factors of 54. 1 times 54, 2 times 27. Ooh, 3 times 18. Nope. Yeah. Just kidding. Okay. 4 is not going to work. 5, 6 times 9. Yeah, there we go. And that's the winner. All right, so we leave that -1 out front. This is going to factor. Yes, you can write that as a negative. You don't have to write the 1, but I don't care either way. So we have chosen 6 and 9, so positive 6 and positive 9. And there we have it. And again, if we're ever unsure, we can FOIL it out. Okay, so if you wanted to double check this one, what I would do is I would FOIL out the parentheses. So this would become x squared plus 9x plus 6x plus 54. So then that would get us x squared plus 15x plus 54. Uh-oh, I've got a problem. Hopefully you guys caught that too. Okay, so I can't do, that's not gonna erase nicely. Hold on, give me a second. Let me try it this way. There we go. Okay, So I can't do positive 6 and positive 9. I didn't check my signs. So I catch you guys doing this all the time. So we want to make positive 3. That doesn't mean they're both positive. Make it positive 9 and negative 6 will get me positive 3. So we go ahead and we fix these issues. So that's a negative 6. Okay. So then we get positive 3x, and then when we finish foiling, we can distribute that negative, get negative x squared minus 3x minus 54. What did I do? I didn't check it. When I foiled this, that should have been negative 54. I didn't fix that. So this is positive when I distribute the negative. Okay? I know it's a little weird, but hopefully you realize that this is checking our solution, right? We want to make sure that we're getting the same answer. I don't know why I did the arrow there. I meant to do it. Okay, so this is how we check it. So if you're struggling, I highly encourage you to do a lot of checking. Okay, make sure your foiling is coming out correct. Okay, you want to keep practicing this. You want to make sure you can get to a rhythm where you can do this in your head, because trust me, we're going to keep adding problems to this. We're going to keep using factoring over and over and over again, a million times forever. So get comfortable with it. Okay, so let's do some more practice problems. All right, so these are the last two I'm going to do. We've got a 5 out front. I don't like it, so let's just go ahead and divide everything by 5. So we pull the 5 out. We get x squared plus 5x minus 14. We factor the 14. We only need 2 and 7. So we know it's going to be x and a 2, x and a 7. We want to make positive 5, so we're going to do negative 2 and positive 7, right? Because that's going to add up to 5 and multiply to negative 14. There you go. Number 12, I don't like the negative 7, so I like it when a is 1. What I mean by that, I don't know if I actually wrote this. Ax squared plus bx plus c. These are all quadratics. So we want the a to not have anything there, or well, a 1. We want it to have a 1. So we pull out the negative 7. We get minus x minus 2. So we know that since it ends on a negative, the signs are going to have to be different. And well, there's only one option, right? 1 and 2. So if I put a 1 here and a 2 here, does that work? No, that'll give me positive 1. So I need to fix it. So negative 2 and a positive 1, because that'll add up to negative 1, and it'll multiply to negative 2. Okay. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. If not, just talk to me in class. I'd be happy to work out some more for you.